Welcome, everyone. So in this lesson, we are going to have a look at a few topics that could come up for your Part 1 speaking test. Science, dreams, alone, sound, pets, and drinking water. Okay? So, let's have a look at the topic science. Now, these are probable questions and I've put up the answers for you. Don't write the answers, please, okay? Because I'm teaching it, I want you to see it because some students might need that support. But that doesn't mean you write everything, okay? You have to look at the question and then give your own answer, okay? Do you like science? That's an interesting question. I feel that science is always a subject I had to pass in school, but it was never my favorite. Actually, I found the topics quite fascinating, especially biology and chemistry, but it never came easily to me. However, I always wished I was better at science since it's a life applicable subject. So I think it is quite a long answer. It goes here and there, but it does answer the question. But I would prefer to give an answer like, do you like science? Yes, I do like science because I think it's like a life applicable subject and it's good to learn about the trees, the animals and about the environment, okay? That's the kind of answer I would give, more precise, okay? What science have you studied? Let me think. Back in high school, I remember taking biology, chemistry, ecology, physics and even one semester of meteorology. I can recall needing to take extensive biology and chemistry classes, whereas I chose physics, ecology and meteorology were electives, right? Classes I chose on my own. Those are Alright, so if I was to give the answer, I wouldn't give such a lengthy one, but I would say, what science have you studied? Well, I've studied chemistry, biology during my school days because I had to do it for my A-levels and that's why I studied it, right? Or studied those subjects. How do you study science? Well, definitely hands-on learning. I remember all of my classes were based on interactive activities, especially experiments and group projects. So I think this bit is enough, but there's more to the answer. But if I was to answer it, I would definitely just answer it with the first few sentences. Right, okay. What's the most difficult part of studying science? So definitely the mathematical aspect of it. You could use anything that you like, right? Since I've never been good at math, this is the area of science that kept me down, right? Kept me down means it prevented you from succeeding. For example, I got decent grades in biology class, but chemistry and physics were a huge struggle for me due to the mathematical nature of them. Okay, so yes, could be a problem for some students because some science subjects require mathematical calculations, okay? Right. How has science that you have studied helped you, right? How has the science that you have studied helped you? Well, although I'm not often conscious of it, I cannot deny that my scientific studies have been beneficial. I especially see how biology, life science, anatomy, chemistry and ecology have helped me understand my body and the world around me better. So that is okay. If you want, you could use the remaining bit of the sentence as well. Okay? So what is most important is that you pause and read through the answer and then you come up with your own answer. Okay? So the next topic is about dreams. How long can you remember your dream when you wake up? Well, that depends. Usually I remember it for about an hour or so because I don't really try to keep it in my mind for so long. But here you have a different answer and you could read it through. Do you like hearing about others' dreams? Yes, I do. I find it quite interesting because, you get to hear about a lot of weird dreams, and I like to listen to those kind of weird dreams that my friends and other people have. Right. Do you think dream will affect life? Well, I don't think so. Definitely not. I don't believe so. You don't have to say do not. You could use contractions, all the better. I don't believe that dreams mean anything significant. I think they're simply a manifestation, or rather showing of your subconscious or worries, thoughts or fears that you have had. Okay? Do you often have dreams at night? Well, not really. I usually don't have dreams. I'm not a heavy dreamer. I don't really know the reason why though. Or you could say always, I'm a heavy dreamer. Okay? Have you had a bad dream before? Well, countless times I would say, right? I've had disturbing nightmares that sometimes would really disturb me in the morning, but it doesn't really stay in my mind for long, but just for a few seconds or a few minutes, I would probably feel disturbed, okay? You could give an example. What was the strangest dream you have had? It's hard to choose one, but let me see. Well, once when I was anxious about to go away to college, furthermore, what kind of random roommate I would have, I dreamt that when I got to college, a giant human-sized tarantula was my roommate. That was scary. It's hard to choose one, but let me see. Well, once I was anxious about to go away to college, and furthermore, what kind of random roommate I would have, I dreamt, so it's in the past tense, that when I got to college, a giant human-sized tarantula is a very hairy, large spider, okay, was my roommate. Although I dreamt this 8 years ago now, it still feels like yesterday, okay? So you could say this part or you don't really have to say that part. Depends on how you want to answer it, okay? Moving on. What do you usually dream about? So you can say, well, I'm not a heavy dreamer, so I don't dream about a lot of things. But what I do dream about is things like, in my subconscious, like going for lectures or, kids' issues, things like that, I would say, right? Okay. So this is a crazy scenario, but you could have a look at the answer. So talking about alone, right? Now remember, we had a few topics, okay? So at the start, I said we were going to discuss about science, dreams. The third one is alone, okay? So let's have a look at those questions. When was the last time you were alone? Well, last night, because I had to come for a stressful day. So my husband had he had a recording, right? So he was away from Colombo. So I had to stay alone at home last night. Okay, so here's another answer, right? Nice words like social butterfly. What do you mean by a social butterfly? A person who is very social. Okay, like an extrovert. Very outgoing social person. Social butterfly. Nice word for you to use. What do you like to do when you're alone? Well, as I'm a tea addict, that's my number one activity to do alone. Furthermore, I enjoy reading a book. How I would love to do that, okay? So what would you like to do when you're alone? What I'd like to do is make myself a nice hot chocolate and start and watch a movie. Okay, so that's something I would love to do, right? Okay. Do you wish to have more time alone? Definitely, because I don't get time to spend alone, right? I've always got, the kids or someone running around the house, so I'd really like to spend some time alone. So here is a different answer. Is it important to have some time alone? Without a doubt, I would definitely say yes, because that gives you time for your own self, right? And because we spend a lot of time with other people, we do get annoyed, we do feel angry, we do feel sad. But when you give yourself some time, it's good to stay away from all the drama. Okay? Now, talking about sound or noise, what natural sound or sounds do you like the most? Well, I would say I like the sounds of birds chirping. That's the sound that I like the most because, it takes my ease off, right? So it starts my day off at ease. It makes me really calm, and I like to listen to that sound and that chirping noise like a little music. Okay? What sounds do you dislike? Well, my biggest pet peeve, something that annoys you the most, right, is the sound of honking horns. I would agree with this. They drive me absolutely mad. And in Sri Lanka, I just think everyone sits on top of the horn. Toot, toot, toot. That's what they go, okay? And it drives me crazy, right? And I find this noise really unbearable. Totally agree with this answer. You could come up with a different answer. What sounds remind you of your childhood? Well, I would say the sound of the 90s pop music. For me, I would think about, the olden days, the more calm music melodies would remind me of my childhood, where you have the famous singers who had more nice, calm music played. Okay? So you could talk about and give few names, right? I personally like, this is not promoting anyone, sorry, okay? But this is what I just like. So you could add the people that you like. I could say, I like to listen to the songs of Victor Ratnayaka or T.M. Jayaratna, where it takes me to my younger days, and I love listening to those songs. What kinds of music do you like the most? Well, that's a tough question, right? Nostalgic. Can you look at that word? Quite nostalgic, where it makes you miss the past. Nice word, okay? Of this decade, can you see decade here? Decade means 10 years, a nice word again. These are the type of words that you should be using. I'm most fond. Fond means that you really like. This era means point of time. Okay? Light-hearted. What do you mean by light-hearted? Not deep or sad meaning, very light-hearted. Okay? So again, nice word. So have a look at this answer. I thought that was very good. Had a lot of words around the topic. Right. Next one. Does your school have any quiet places for studying? Well, I think the library is the only place in my school that had a very quiet environment or atmosphere, right? So here you go. I don't think it needs to be very long as this, but you could come up with an example. What are some places where there's a lot of noise, right? Well, I think I'm from a bustling means a very busy city, okay? So it's impossible to escape from the noise. I think, well, around the cities where you find most of the noise, you find street sellers, honking horns, motorbikes, dogs barking, construction sites, so many things going on. So I feel that is quite noisy. Do you mind noises? I mean, do any noises bother you? Well, it does, right? Especially when I want to, do a lecture or when I'm preparing a lesson, it really bothers me, right? So I guess yes, okay. It's so shrill. Shrill means it gets onto your head when dogs bark or when there's honking or when there's a machine working for construction, right? So yes, it could be quite aggravating or annoying, in other words, okay? Right, so we're going to talk about animals or pets. Do you like animals? Yes, of course. I was raised by animal lovers, so I have definitely inherited that trait. Nice set of words. Inherited trait. I believe that all living things are connected and we should respect and love animals. You don't really have to go with this, but you could if you want to. For example, are incredible, loyal, and never fail to be excited and wag. What do you mean by wag? When the dog goes, okay, when the tail goes wag, 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 back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Okay, so when they're really excited, that's what dogs do, right? Right. What is your favorite animal? So you could say, well, my favorite animal is a cat, a dog, or a bird, fish. Here it is whales, right? You could use your own animal. Did you have any pets when you were a child? I had lots of pets. I had a few cats, I had a few dogs, I had a rabbit, I had a squirrel, I had some cockatiels. So yes, I did have quite a few number of animals because I really loved having them around. It made me feel really happy and you feel really loving when they're around, okay? Do many people in your country keep a pet at home? I would say definitely yes. It's kind of the trend nowadays. And then here is your answer. You could go through it. Okay. You could come up with your own and say, nope, not really. It's not very trendy. Or you could say yes. Remember, I told you there is no right or wrong answer. It's how you answer and give reasons. Last one, drinking water. How often do you drink water? For me, basically every day I drink water. Staying hydrated. Dehydrated is when you don't have water. So staying hydrated is very important. If not, I really get a bad headache as well, right? So I think it's very important and I drink water whenever I can. What kinds of water do you like to drink? Well, I'm not very picky about it, okay? I would just drink the bottled water. Okay, I'm not a sparkling water fan, but I would like to drink bottled still water. Do you drink bottled water or water from the machines? Usually bottled water, okay? Or you could say I drink it from the water machine, depending on what your answer is, and give a reason. Right, so I think we've had a look at lots of questions. Now, what did I tell you at the start of the speaking module? I have put up the answers so that you can have a look at some sample answers. You can have a look at a good range of vocab and, sentence structures, but do not memorize. The best way to practice is look at the question, come up with your own answer, record it, listen to it again and see, okay, how can I improve? What kind of words have they used? What kind of words can I use? And then work on your answer maybe 2 or 3 times. So with that, we come to the end of the lesson where we were focusing about part 1 topics for speaking. We had a look at science, dreams, alone, sound, pets, and drinking water.